Hello. Hello. So this is the Odin project, and I'm going to take you through. Okay. Here is the foundational course. I'm at 6%. So here it is. The introduction. Along your programming journey, you would inevitably need to ask questions in an online coding community like ours or in conversations with your colleagues. So, when asking questions may seem rather simple in a programming environment, it is essential to ask well formed questions with as much context as needed so you can get the most out of asking for help. In essence, help others help you. This lesson will provide you with the tools to effectively ask questions in communities such as Discord chat, Stack Overflow, and in the workplace. Lesson overview. This section contains a general overview of topics that you learn in this lesson. Now, what are these topics? Explain techniques for asking programming questions, explain and avoid qualities of bad questions, ask effective and well informed questions, tips for getting the best help possible. Always provide your code and the surrounding context. You can ask theoretical vague questions, but you're going to get theoretical vague answers that probably won't be helpful to you and cause frustration on both ends, as you and the person helping you dance around the issue. The only time code doesn't need to be provided is if you're asking purely conceptual questions outside of a specific project or code snippet. Additionally, provide as much context as is necessary and zero in on the specific problem, such as pointing people to a specific function or line number in your code so people can give you the most relevant answers and quickly assist you. Ask about the problem at hand, not the solution itself. A lot of learners ask exactly how to approach a given task or assignment in this curriculum, such as the below. How do I complete step 5 of the rock paper scissors assignment? Yeah, that's a vague question. Keep in mind that you're actually supposed to figure out how to solve the assignment yourself, and figuring out an approach is essential to your learning journey. A much better question might look like this: Hey, I'm trying to return a string that displays the winner in rock, paper, scissors, but I'm getting a syntax error on line 12. How can I fix this? Here's my code. In sharing your attempt, people know what you tried and won't suggest things that might not have worked out for you. It also allows them to debug your current iteration of code rather than sending you down a path that has you start all over again when you might be very close to a solution. Now, if you're completely stuck with where to start, it's completely fine to let people know that you're stuck. Asking where you can start and what you can research to get on the right path track empowers you to be able to resolve issues largely on your own in the future and might even empower you to help others. With the same issue later on, it is also recommended that you share your pseudocode so people can nudge you in the right direction or correct any misunderstandings that you may have. Don't take asking for more context to heart. People who volunteer in coding communities are here to help, but a question you may feel is coherent and obvious probably isn't if you're being asked for more context. While something may seem obvious to a beginner, it's sometimes nowhere near obvious to an expert. An expert knows about many more situations that could cause an issue someone is experienced, and we want to refrain from sending another down the wrong path. People take time out of their day to help, so make it easy as possible for them to help you. There's probably good reasons why they need more information, so trust their judgment and experience when they ask. Many people who help in coding chats are unpaid volunteers and are in no way obligated to answer your query. But because they truly do want to help you, they'll ask for more information when needed. So this is the first assignment. The first assignment says read and bookmark this amazing article by Gonzo. It's a great reference to refer when you find yourself needing to ask for help, and you might find yourself solving your own problem as you think about the point listed in this article. So, to this article, this amazing article by Gordon Zoo. Okay. How to be great at asking coding questions. The situation. Most people are absolutely terrible. This is very good answer. Most people are absolutely terrible at asking questions. But the good thing is that you can follow a simple step to be great at it. Whether you are part of a team on Stack Overflow or a student at Watch and code, asking questions is essential. People that ask good questions are more effective because they get better answers more quickly and more often. They also take it more seriously and get more respect. No matter if you care about your career. Good questions save time. Bad questions waste time. Bad questions create unnecessary back and forth conversation which create frustration and conflict. People that ask bad questions get frustrated because they can't get help. And people that try to help get frustrated because answering bad questions is so damn frustrating. When question askers usually don't get fired their careers just because finding them is pure frustration. If you're a manager and to fire someone, you may think of people that ask bad questions. The only thing that says most bad questions askers is that okay, the mindset. The process described in this article is great for structuring and formatting questions, but if you don't bring the right mindset, it doesn't matter how neatly you format them. To understand the thinking that should happen before you even start writing, watch this video. Okay, basically, this video is about no stupid questions. The process. Understand the code to the best of your ability. Yes, really, actually do this. Do not this step. Most people give up way too easy. Go through line by line and figure out what each line does. Take notes. Think about things that might be confusing that I'm seeking. Use a debugger to help you. If you don't know what this means, watch this video. Go with restraint. If you take this as a scavenger hunt, you drop yourself off to the present. Which is what programming is all about. Clearly describe the problem, explain the context. For example, if you're a student at Watch and code, provide the URL for the associate to listen and explain what you're trying to do. If you have a question about a video, provide the terms to the system and try to help and reference exact place where you could start. Explain the exact steps you took to produce the problem. For example, did you click three buttons in a specific order? Did it work fine in Chrome? But no, it's hard to explain everything. Step. Explain what you expect to see. Explain what you actually see. For example, if there's an error message, share the entire error and the line of code that caused it. If there's a weird user interface problem, take a screenshot. Provide the code that illustrates the problem. If you're working on a large project, in a large project, isolate just the part that is broken and share that. When you share code, make sure that code doesn't change by the time someone does it. That means you should create a separate copy for code just for your question. If you change the code by the time someone looks at it, your question is not just a bad question, it is inaccurate, which is worse than bad. That's because everything might have changed, and but there's no way the person answer will know about it. Do not punish people that want to help you. Make sure that the code you're sharing can reproduce the problem. Take the code you shared and make sure it behaves exactly like you described. If you share broken code that doesn't replicate the problem, it will be impossible to help you. Format your code consistently. It doesn't matter what style you use, just make sure that you're consistent. It makes your code easier to read. It should also help you with the next step. Choose yourself for typos. Nobody wants to look for your typos. If you find your own typos, you need to learn how. Just keep reading. For example, if you stuck on anything at all, go back to a point where your code work and do this from there. Make sure that your code continues to work each step of the way. If you get to a point where your code doesn't work, read the lesson and double check for typos. If you're on a specific lesson the code is provided, check the provided code and see if it works. If the provided code works but yours doesn't, then you have a typo. Now that you're sure that you have a typo, it's your job to find it. Go back methodically and figure out where you messed up. Do not waste someone else's time and ask them to do something that you should do yourself. And next time, explain what you did to troubleshoot the problem. Come up with a list of hypotheses about what the problem might be and then test them periodically for each hypothesis. Explain what you did to, to test it. During the process, you might figure out the problem yourself. This is very common. Explain what you think the problem might be. Proceed your question. Read through the question and make sure I provided everything that someone will need to answer it. edit for clarity. If you think something may be confusing, fix it. If there's a typo, fix it. If you have typos in your question, because I know that you have typos in your code, and like I said before, other people are not your personal writer. Step 10. Send updates and remember this will not be your last question. If you figure out the answer before anyone can respond, and tell people personally, don't waste time looking for an answer you've already found. When you get an answer back 10 times, they just say careful and understand what the person is saying. Keep in mind they may not actually be right, so you need to verify that the solution works. Thank each person that helped you, and remember they did have to answer a question, but for some reason they wanted to. If you got this far, odds are odds are really like my YouTube channel, right? But uh, this is written by Gordon Zoo. That was nice. So back to this one. So read about the XY problem, which is a common pitfall both new and experienced programmers fall into when asking questions. Okay, the XY problem. What is it? The XY problem is asking about your attempted solution rather than your actual problem. Hmm. Let me read this. XY problem is asking about your attempted solution rather than your actual problem. Oh, this leads to enormous amounts of wasted time and energy. So this basically means you're asking uh, what your solution didn't work instead of asking the problem of what your solution is supposed to solve. This leads to enormous amount of wasted time and energy, both on the part of people asking for help and on the part of those providing help. You just want to do X. You just want to know how to do X. Okay. Um, what about it? Okay, this is an XY problem. So it's more of code. I can treat this out. But there are two examples here that you can take your time and check them out. But you basically get the XY problem why they included it on the Odin project site. So during our time you can check it out. Okay, back to here. While asking for okay, we were at 3. Check out this article from the world's most popular programming help resource, Stack Overflow. Mm, okay. How do I ask a good question? I believe this is another. Okay. While asking for help is encouraged, it is important to avoid becoming a help vampire and be respectful of the communities or persons you're asking for help. This resource goes in depth to identify what a help vampire is. Give those who help others the tools to empower success. Now check. This section contains questions for you to check your understanding of this lesson, and if you're having trouble answering a question, click it and review the material it links to. Okay. This section contains helpful links to related content. It isn't required, so consider it supplemental. It looks like this lesson doesn't have any addition. Help us uh, mark as complete. So I've completed this part. See you guys in the next video.